Good morning, I'm Jeff. I'm a Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 15024 Northeast Clackamas Street here in Portland. We're located in the basement. We've got a 3-inch cap. I think it's only a 4-inch cast iron line. This will be the point of access. I'm going to insert the camera and check the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. I'm going to zero out the camera counter right here at the base of the cleanout and refer to this spot as the point of access. Here we go. Alright, here at 32 feet, it transitions over to 4-inch ABS plastic, and everything's looking pretty darn good so far. Alright, here at 63 feet, it transitions over to 6-inch PVC pipe. And towards the end of the ABS part of the line here, there was some standing water, and also some debris. And we'll see how that drains out at the end. Sorry, I was trying to clean the camera lens off there. Here at 87 feet out, we have reached the main lateral. I'm going to get the water turned off and let it drain out completely before reeling back, so we can fully inspect. The one part of the line I am concerned about right now is the end of the ABS part of the line. There was, I mentioned before, standing water. Okay, while the line continues to drain out here, I'm going to go ahead and start pulling the camera back. And if you're curious what that thing is sitting in the middle of the pipe there, at first glance it almost looks like it's a small root, but it's a big old spider that's hanging out in a spider web. I'm focusing here at 62 feet on these two joints on the right side of the screen. It's kind of hard to tell. The camera lens is a little gunked up, but it does look like we've got some small roots that have started to come through the two joints here, and it's caused a piece of toilet paper or whatever it is to hang up at this spot. They look like they're pretty small at this point. They're very tough to see. But I will locate and find out where this is at exactly. There are multiple options here to deal with something like this. One, you could do a repair, that's obviously the permanent solution, or do something like drain clean or hydrojet the line and put root killing foam down to keep them from growing back at a quick rate anyway. We're going to attempt here to maybe flush this piece of debris out of the way so we can see what's underneath it. Because at this point it's very tough to discern whether that's some really tiny root ends that have started to come through there or not. There's just too much debris over the top of it all to really get a good look at it to confirm. And depending on how strong this toilet flush is coming past the camera, that'll also give us a decent idea of how much the standing water behind the camera is impeding flow. Okay, so at this point, any water that would be coming from that toilet flush would have come past the camera. We've flushed the toilet about at least a minute ago at this point, so there is some water moving past the camera here, but you can see it is very minimal, and normally a toilet flush at this point would look just like an explosion of water. Okay, there's the toilet flush now kind of catching up. So again, extremely weak, you'd want a toilet flush to look much stronger than this at this point. If it were 120 feet out, this is kind of what it would look like. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and locate here, find out where this is at. I'm fairly sure there's roots underneath that. And you could confirm that by possibly augering the line here to remove that piece of paper towel or whatever it is, and then putting a scope in behind to check it out. If you jet the line, it would blow everything out of there, and you wouldn't have anything left over to look at. But by augering, you could probably pull that rag away and see what's underneath to confirm. It's very difficult to tell. There's just so much stuff covering it up. But from what I can tell, and seeing as there is something stuck right at this point, this would not surprise me at all if it was in fact roots. So I'm going to go locate it. Okay, so I did locate the camera head here at this point. We're about a foot, maybe 2 feet beyond the retaining wall out on the street on northeast Clackamas. I'm not entirely sure if this is in the city's point of responsibility yet or not. It's worth contacting them to find out. And I have taken a picture of the marking where this is at exactly, so kind of go off of that as well. I'm going to continue rolling back here. But again, if a repair is not done, and oh, it was also 10 feet deep. It's very, very deep. If a repair is not done, I would recommend doing periodic drain cleaning or scoping to keep an eye on it to see if it is growing at any concerning rate. It's not really affecting flow at this time, but it can obviously change and continue to grow. And this is the other spot I was concerned about. This is where we have some standing water. And we'll see how this has drained out. Okay, so after coming back through this belly here, it extends from about 53 feet. I'm going to push out here at the end. It's not terribly long. That's about a 5-6 foot sectional line there that's lost some grade. And with the line all drained out, there's about 1 inch of standing water here. The toilet flush was kind of weak moving past that point, but the rest of the line, especially coming back towards the house, there's not a whole lot of debris, which tells me that for the most part everything is making its way out to the main. But due to the depth of the line and the cost incurred repairing a belly like this, it would be extremely expensive. And I'm not sure that you'd get a whole lot of benefit out of doing it just because there's 1 inch of standing water and not like 2 or 3 inches. But what I would recommend in this situation, I mean, ideally a repair would be, that's what we like to see, is it draining out perfectly. But hydrojetting can do a great job at keeping all the debris buildup to a minimum. And I would do that on like a yearly basis. Run the jetter through, keep all the debris out of there, and avoid things like paper towels, grease, any type of wipes. Toilet paper and food debris down the disposal is really all that should go down, and avoid fat and grease, like the plague. But doing that, I think that would keep the line functioning just fine. But you got to keep up on that, and just make sure you do your jetting. Or you could do a hydrojet here right when you move in, or before you move in, and then do a sewer scope about a year from now. And that will give you a baseline for how much debris is building up based on your and your family's activity, because it can change depending on how people cook and live. So. Yeah, this is like another wipe right here. So I do recommend a hydrojet here soon, preferably before the new buyers move in, and then a rescope in about a year, and possibly a jet at that time as well. And that's to see what the pipe looks like after living here, and that will also give you an opportunity to do another hydrojet. But probably on a yearly basis would do the trick. And I recommend a rescope after the jetting, the initial jetting, just to make sure that it was thoroughly cleaned out. And then again, check with the city on where their responsibility starts and ends, because that possible root intrusion out at 62 feet, that might be the city's to deal with. And if it's homeowner, again, it's another situation where, because of how minor it is currently, and especially how long the line has been here, if they are in fact roots, that might be about as bad as they ever get. It's hard to say when they intruded. It could have been 5 days ago, it could have been 5 years ago. So because they're so minor, that's why I recommend doing drain cleaning, and that will take care of the debris buildup in the belly and throughout the line, as well as keep those roots cut down. And you can put foam down the line that will keep the roots from growing back for about a year.